Garden tour, June 2nd, 2025. We're getting a little sun today, which is not normal for this spring so far. It's been a fairly rainy spring. We've just started getting some sunny weather here recently. But I can't complain. It's better than a drought. So anyways, here you can see the rye plot. It's getting smaller and smaller each year as the garden gets bigger. Here are the last couple beds here that I need to form. Got some compost over there that will go down there shortly. These beds here, you can probably tell, the tomato trellises are up down at the far end. Every year so far that I've had this garden, the tomato trellises were always up here at the top edge of the garden, headed down. So just to not put the tomatoes in the same place they've always been, they're down at that end this year, and that's the first time they've been down there, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to put the tomatoes in a little later today. Here we've got a bed I planted pretty early. This here is spinach that bolted, so that's not going to amount to much. When I get around to it, I'll chop it out of there. Got some lettuce here in the middle. These are probably Great Lakes. Oh, look at that. The spinach is putting off pollen. Wonderful. Here are some bolted radishes. I think there's still some in there that I can get some use out of. I see a couple. This is my baby leaf lettuce bed that I harvested earlier this morning. I haven't weighed it yet, but it's probably 20 pounds of lettuce. So that's a little more than I need, but we'll have a special on lettuce tomorrow. Here is, this is the other variety of radishes here, French breakfast, with, you can see there's some romaine in the middle here. Some of these are starting to bolt. This bed is reaching the end of its life, but I'm going to pull out every radish out of this bed this week that is still good, and sell those at market tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be my first farm stand of the year. It's a few weeks earlier than it was last year. In this bed here, I did a second planting of carrots. Up at the top of the bed is my second planting of carrots, and the lower part of this bed is the next round of baby leaf lettuce. This bed here is the remainder of my celery, and also some tiny little red onion seedlings that I inherited from the farm that I work at. So we'll see. I didn't get great germination on my onions this year, so I scrounged for whatever I could find. So this will be in addition to my lettuce that you'll see further on in the garden. I'm sorry, not lettuce, onions that you'll see further on in the garden. Here is a bed at the top of the bed is green beans. In the center of the bed is some scallions. And as we come down this way, we've got, what is this? This is probably cilantro here in the middle, and then some dill, and then this is my second planting of radish. So these aren't too far away from being ready. Hopefully maybe next week those will be ready, because as you remember, the first planting of radish is just about done. I'll probably be able to sneak some radish bunches out of there this later after I'm done. You can also see I've put some, what do we got there? We got probably some butter crunch at the top. This is probably Great Lakes. And then we probably got romaine falling. Oh, look at that. A yellow romaine. That's odd. Probably not going to be interested in that. Oh, and then what have we got here? We've got a bed of, this is leeks, or celery interplanted with leeks. At the bottom, I've got another dill plant, another cilantro plant. So yeah, you can see, you know, it alternates leeks and celery, going back and forth all the way to the top of the bed. And this bed, this is the bed that, this was my first planting of carrots, and I didn't, as you can see, it's a little spotty on the germination, and that's why I planted the second bed of carrots already, because, you know, this amount of carrots is just not going to sustain what I need very long. But, you know, I'll let them grow. I'll snag them out of there as quick as I can, and then I'll flip this bed and put something else in here. I've also direct seeded some peas down the middle. Also did not get great germination on those peas. Luckily I scavenged some peas from the farm I work at. I'm gonna fill in the center there with some of those seedlings. I also stuck in, I mean, you can see here, I guess this is probably cilantro here, just where the carrots didn't germinate. Oh, let's see, what else have we got in here? Oh, God, I've got a net across this bed, trying to keep animals out of the garden. There's a family of geese that live here in the river, and the deer love, you know, this is like their buffet over here, so I'm trying to just slow down the wildlife a little bit. Oh, we also, I think I stuck some dill in here where the carrots didn't germinate. And here is my first planting of beets. Not super happy with the germination rate here either, but it is better than the carrots. And high on my list is planting now a second bed of beets, so that'll happen here, oh, soon, within the next few weeks, if not today. Now, let's see what we've got in our next bed here. We have, this is the bed that has the onions that I germinated myself. So down here at the bottom, this is the extent of my red onion. We've got some giant red mustard plants here in the bottom of each bed. This is also, you know, you can see that bed there. That is my green cabbage bed with red at the top. And then this bed has, I had leftover green cabbage and leftover red cabbage after I planted that bed, so I snuck that in here. It's got Swiss chard up the middle. That's going to be harvested once I'm done shooting this video. Look at this kale. Looks delicious. That's going to be harvested as soon as I'm done shooting this video. Got some blue curly. That looks yummy. I mean, this kale looks beautiful. And it's, you know, this stuff would really normally be a lot more chewed up at this point in the year. I mean, it's, you know, the bugs would be devouring it, but this row cover insect netting fabric that I've been using, it's a little bit of a pain in the neck. You know, you're going to take it on, take it off, but it's doing the trick. And it's also helping these things grow faster because it, you know, it creates like a little greenhouse almost. So it actually makes for a little slightly warmer environment. So, you know, the plants respond to that. Here at the top of the bed is the extent of my yellow onions. Not a great germination on my seedlings, but you know, I'll take what I can get. The farm I work at, we didn't have any of our yellow onions germinate. It was not a great year for germination on the onion seed, unfortunately. So yeah, like I said, in this bed we've got purple cabbage at the top, green head cabbage down at the bottom. This bed here is the Napa cabbage. We've got another mustard plant at the top of the bed there. And we've got some more kale interplanted down the middle here. Kale looks beautiful. Oh, I'm psyched. People are going to love it at market. Yep. Yeah, you can see the green cabbage looks beautiful. You know, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that we can maintain this. I'm hopeful though. The insect netting seems to really be helping. You can see we've got some scallions interplanted with the green cabbage here. I'm going to take a bunch of these from the scallions from market. Some of those are ready to sell. Back to the Napa cabbage. We've also got some more chard in the middle. I'll harvest a bunch of that and take it to market tomorrow. Let's see, what else have we got? We got another red mustard at the bottom. The garlic's looking tall and healthy. It's gonna be any time now. I'm gonna start seeing the beginnings of the scapes here. Got some nice weeds here that I'm gonna go to war with here shortly. But before long, there'll be scapes. And here are the flower beds that I have planted, I have seeded. These are probably, let's see, probably got some zinnias in here. No, I don't see great germination, but there's some, so I'll take it. I've got backup seeds. I'll hit it again here, if not today, next week. This is my sunflower bed, and I'm not seeing great germination here. I guess this is probably a sunflower here. Yeah, that seed may have outlived its life, unfortunately. It's the sunflower seed that I use is a few years old, so I may have been wishful thinking. I think that's probably a sunflower. That's probably a sunflower. That's probably a sunflower. So hopefully some of these come along, because they're beautiful. If not, I can get more sunflower seed and I'll pop some more in. So, the garden's coming along. This will be my first harvest week. I'm putting my tomatoes in. It's been a little bit slower spring to come along, just because, we haven't got a ton of sun. It's been a fairly rainy spring. But, on the bright side, it probably means we won't have a drought this summer. And if the sun and weather breaks right, we're just going to be off to the races. So, that's the gist of the garden for this week.